What's up, guys? So I know I've been slacking the past couple days or so, basically since I got back from Florida. I'm in like this weird gray area of I don't know what the hell I'm doing with both these cars at the moment, financially, I guess, because I just got the new shop, so it kind of has me hurting. I still haven't really figured out what I want to do with the FD yet. I haven't decided if I want to sell it and get a cleaner one or just build this one. Who knows? We'll figure that out. So it's kind of like a gray area right there. And then the Z, my budget's tight for the month, so I really can't afford to buy anything really much for it this month. We'll see. The collab shirt didn't do as well as I was hoping for, but that's no biggie. I haven't really touched the FD because I don't want to mod it if I'm going to sell it. I haven't made up my mind yet, and I'm annoying, whatever. And then the Z I don't really have parts for, so I figured we could do something pretty cool with the Z today, and that would be a one-day base shave challenge. Now, what the hell is a base shave? So a base shave is essentially simplifying the engine bay as much as possible. Now, call it an engine tuck, a wire tuck, a base shave, whatever. This is a base shave, essentially. I could probably make it a little more, look a little bit more tucked, but as you can see, there's nothing in the engine bay except the engine itself. If I wanted to go crazy, I could still hide the harnesses here, tuck them under, but it's whatever. And then this is the stock engine bay. It's even worse on a TT. My love for cars actually started with Volkswagens, and a lot of you might know, a lot of you might not, but base shaves is like a really big thing in the Volkswagen car community, I guess, in the sense of like car shows and stuff. Like all the major builds are base shaved cars, and so my love for the whole base shave thing kind of came in when I got this car. I was finally able to do one, so I'm all about the simplistic look. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it really shows you know what you're doing. So when it comes to base shaves, you kind of have to compromise a few things. You have to take a few sacrifices in functionality, I guess you would call it. So you kind of have to decide if it's worth it for you or not. If you don't care, whatever, leave it in there. But if you want a nice clean look and you're willing to put in the extra time and effort and kind of a little bit of a sacrifice, it's definitely a cool thing. If we had a few days, I can get this thing like empty, but I want to do a one-day challenge, see how much we can get done. And realistically, I'm pulling this engine anyway, so all the work I'm doing right now is kind of redundant, but I think it'd be a cool idea to show you guys like how much you could do with the motor in the engine bay itself. So most people might know the first thing you want to do when you're working in an engine bay or on your car in general is just disconnect your battery. Safety safe right here. All right, so the easiest thing to delete first on this car especially is the cruise control. Now I switched to a Nardi aftermarket wheel, so the cruise control is technically already deleted to me, so we're gonna remove it from the engine bay. So this whole unit right here is all for the cruise control, and we could essentially just unbolt it and take it out. All right, cruise control is out. Now a very common one on the Zs is the EGR. Now the EGR is basically an emissions piece that recirculates exhaust gases into the intake, this whole thing, but we don't need it. Like I said, it's full emissions. This car's emissions exempt, so we could start deleting this stuff. So just a little module for it, and we can actually delete this whole entire thing. This is nice because it's not a TT model, so essentially all we have to do is just cap the vacuum lines that it goes to. All right, so taking it apart, I quickly realized it's actually not the EGR. I completely forgot. It's been a while since I've done this, but that's actually the AIV system. I think that's what it is. It's the air injection ventilation something. All what it does is essentially it injects clean air into your exhaust to better emissions. It's whatever. There's a lot of crap to it. And so not only is it a base shave item, but it's a very big weight reduction item. I think you could save like 10 pounds from the whole system. So you're wondering where the hell 10 pounds worth of stuff might be hidden. Now we did delete the little module. We're gonna delete the vacuum lines. But inside the fenders on both sides, there is a crap ton of piping, surprisingly, that we will delete a little bit later. But for now, we're just gonna work in the engine bay. So this is a really easy thing to delete. Essentially, you just rip everything out and you cap the vacuum lines. It's that easy. So I capped the valance tube. Now I have to cap one of the intake pipings right here. All right, so we're just gonna send it and go into the fender and delete all the junk that's inside there. This car is ridiculously clean. Look at all of this. So the fender liner is back. Now you can see all the junk underneath this thing. Now, right here is a pipe that leads into the exhaust, and this is where it takes the fresh air and recirculates it into the exhaust. So essentially everything in here we could just take out, which is sick. The only thing we have to make sure is that we cap this line right here once we finish taking it all out. Hey Steffi.
Hey Bubs. What are you working on?
So that's a lot better. It's all out and empty, and we should be all set on that. Now while the fender liner is off, we could actually use that to tuck a few things inside the liner, like I was saying, to make some things nice and hidden. So what I did on the Red Z, which I like to do, is basically put this underneath the fender well right here. So what I like to do is I like to bring it through and tuck it underneath the fender liner, because you usually don't need to get to that much. It's not that hard to get to from here. So there's a hole right here that we could basically pull that fuse box through, and we're gonna do that right now. All right, so I jumped the gun a little bit, but I mounted the whole box up. Now you could take the little OEM bracket that it comes with right here and bend it, and then you could bolt it on one of the mounting plates for the stuff we just deleted, if you could see it, like right there. And then I kind of self-tapered a little L bracket on the bottom right, as you can see right there, and just zip tied it to it. It should be all set. We tucked behind the fender liner pretty decent, and it's definitely tight enough that I'm happy about it. That is not going anywhere. And there you go. The box is now hidden. Not bad. So we have like one corner of the car looking pretty good. So moving on to the aspect of compromising. So one thing we can delete if you want to, it's not that much in the way on this engine bay. On a lot of cars there's like a big tank for it, but that's your wiper fluid. Now, I never use it personally. If I was in Florida where there was a lot of bugs and stuff during the day, I probably would keep it. But so I'm gonna delete my tank that holds my wiper, washer, fluid, whatever you wanna call it, and do that. Okay, so we don't have to drain it. We could actually take it out with it full. Connected all the lines to it. And now I gotta pull the filler neck. And hopefully, oh, we're losing fluid. All right, hopefully we can just pull this out without spilling it everywhere. Ooh. See, look at all that room. Nice. So for this, I'm gonna zip tie this stuff out of the way, the harnesses that is, and I'm gonna put this off to the side just in case I change my mind, because this would be really easy to install again. The tank just bolts in at 2 spots, and 2 lines run, one to the rear and one to the hood for the, you know, to squirt the fluid onto the windshield and the hatch. So I guess the next thing we could do is the HID ballast. So these we could easily tuck under the headlight and get them, you know, out of eye's view. It's kind of just taped on here, I guess. So it's really easy to run it through the hole that was made when we removed the wiper fluid container, and I was able to actually use the mounts for the wiper fluid container for the ballast. So the ballast is all nice and snug and tight. That's not going anywhere, and the wires are zip tied out of place. So an important thing when trying to like shave a bay is wire tucking. Now, wire tucking is exactly what you think it is. It's literally hiding the harness where you can. On the Z, luckily it has a massive intake manifold, so we can hide a lot underneath it. The TT is even nicer because it has a crap ton of intake piping, and it's a really good place to hide your wires. So right here we have this one intake piping. The TT has about 2 more right here, and it's great. You can just shove wires underneath it. But in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is take this main harness that runs through the bay, and we're gonna hide it down here in this little shadowy area, so it's not so much in your face. If you're really feeling up to it, there's a whole interface harness right here that you can disconnect and then reconnect underneath, so all these connections are tucked underneath and not in the way. For this, I'm not gonna go that crazy. I have to unplug this when I pull the motor anyway, so I kind of want to keep it visible since we're going to pull the motor hopefully next week. So, all right, so my goal now is to basically unplug this, put it underneath the power steering reservoir, and basically just have it hug this harness right here. All right, so I just threw it underneath the power steering reservoir really quick, and as you can see, it's still dangling here. As I was going through that, I realized the EGR solenoid is actually right here. Now, before I thought the AIV solenoid was the EGR because on the USDM models are right next to each other, but no, it's tucked under here. It looks exactly like the little solenoid right here. So we're gonna pull that out, cap all the vacuum lines, and we should be all set on there, and it'll give me a little bit more room. Zip tie this underneath the intake manifold. So I kind of zip tied it to the main harness that was already there and underneath the little intake manifold. Now I'm not really too happy with it. It seems a little half-assed. Really what I would do if I had the time would be to literally tuck this main harness inside the little pocket like I was saying before. Then you wouldn't see this big cluster and look really empty. Honestly, when it comes to engine tucking, wire tucking, stuff like that, it's a big trial and error process. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of creativity, but it is a fun thing to do. So we're gonna start the next side off by just taking off the wheel again and going inside the fender liner, because there's a bunch of junk underneath the fender that we can remove, just like the other side. All right, so the more I dig into this car, the more I realize that it's kind of redundant for me to do any of this, even though, since I'm pulling the motor in like a week anyways. So I might just call it on that. So there's a lot of things we could actually take out of this car. So when it comes to the driver's side or the Japanese passenger side, the left side of the damn car, there is a lot of stuff that we can remove and relocate. So essentially on this side of the car, the big move is to tuck your fuse box. Now with this, it's actually really easy. You could actually unblock this whole fuse panel, pull it through the hole underneath the headlight, and mount it right here. And not only that, you could actually relocate the fuel filter underneath the gas tank so it's not in the engine bay, and you could simplify this whole corner. And I feel like an asshole because I feel like I'm being lazy, but it's so much work just to kind of make a point. So I think I might just call on that, and I hope you guys learned a decent amount about bay tucking from literally just showing this one corner of the car. Now when I pull the engine, I will tuck this driver's side, or GDM passenger side, whatever you want to call it, the left side of the car, and I'll show you guys how to really tuck this. But in the meantime, I think we're just going to call it with that. I'm going to throw the Z together later, but the guys just showed up, so I guess we're going to check in with them and see what they've been up to. Now our new shopmate Dylan has put in a lot of work on his Cresta in the past couple days, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it because it looks sick.
We're pointing a bunch of lights.
What are you complaining about?
No, Drew asked me what do we have for beverages, and obviously it's beer, ketchup, and beer. Is the fridge off? I literally just unplugged it to microwave my dinner, guy. Kids these days.
Oh, it's sagging now. It looks so cool before. All right, dude, that's sick. Even though this thing still looks like a giant pickle, this thing's cool.
Big win, kid. I'm saying though, just
All right, so I guess we're gonna show some love to the budget hatch today.
Partial love.
Partial love.
Okay, Jimmy's gonna show love to it, and Jip's gonna sit here and keep eating.
How's your car running?
Ooh. Your car never even started. Sips water. Got him. He doesn't want any smoke.
Dude, I'll literally mop you up right here with this Cavatelli in my hand.
All right, well, we're still waiting on a few parts, like always, but I think I'm gonna finish putting the fuses in all the fuse panel because they're all defused. Hook up the fuel lines finally, and then I kind of want to put power to the car and just kind of watch this thing light up. Not like in flames, but like watch the gauges light up. It'll be inspiring. I think it'll be inspiring. Don't you think, Dale?
Yeah.
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 Jip doesn't think the shell came with a bigger fuel pump in it. I think it did because the guy had an SR in here before, and yeah, you can run a stock fuel pump on an SR, but not for long, and not on an SR really pushing any boost. But the kid doesn't. But the previous owner wasn't really the one who built the car. I think he bought it built, and so he doesn't really know. And so Jip wanted to pull the pump to figure out if it's a 255, like everyone swaps in these things anyways. And whoever did it last basically glued this thing together. So there's like a little O-ring on this thing that they always swell and go bad when you pull it off. And so this guy, I think he like RTV'd. It's not even RTV, it's like hard. And so it's like, it's literally glued to the tank. Look at that. So we're essentially screwed.
We're gonna find it.
So we're gonna kind of cross our fingers that it's a 255. I mean, I think it'd be fine with a K1. We just burn it out pretty quick, but
I'm not trying to put another one in eventually.
all right, I've been putting this off forever, but We got the fuel lines. We actually got these off of the old car, so there you go. 0 expense right there.
Shout out to that old car.
That old car got so many parts on here, but we got the upgraded filter and the lines, and fuel lines are very expensive, so I'm gonna bolt them in now, and they're easy as that. Yay! All right, the fuel lines are in. Now I have Jip underneath, putting a main ground on the engine and tranny. Hi, Jip. Your face just came in so in focus. So he's trying to figure that out, and so yeah, I gotta now find myself all the fuses. Or I have like a box of OEM fuses somewhere, relays, where the hell they are. I don't know where I put them, but I gotta basically put them all in both fuse panels within the car.
You're cabbage.
He's acquired a drill somehow.
Currently using the bell housing as a table to drill out the ground cable. Wow.
Alright, battery. The fuse boxes are fully fused up, as you could possibly see. One's under there too. Still a disgusting mess. So that's all set. So I'm waiting on Jip to finish this whole grounding thing. I don't know what's going on over here. Tucker could have did it faster.
Well, when you don't have bits big enough for the bolt, it's kind of hard to make the hole big enough.
Don, I don't know what your plans are. I think he's just trying to save money right now to buy other things, but Don got a girlfriend, so he doesn't hang out with us anymore.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
That's not that bad. It's not bad.
No bad days.
No.
Okay, let's put power to Jip's chassis and see if we can get something to light up. This is exciting.
I need like 2 more.
Okay, well, chassis has power. Should. Turn your headlights on. Oh, I thought the dash lights would work. Man, I suck. Alright, so it's probably not gonna focus. The main fuse is popped. I don't know why. It seems like it was already popped because I didn't hear anything. I don't know. Let's find another one of these. Alright, so the chassis isn't getting power for some reason, and I'm trying to check the main power at the fuse box, and my voltmeter broke, which is unfortunate because it's been like this. It was like a $5 Harbor Freight one that I've literally built all my cars on. Whatever. So I have to buy a new voltmeter and figure out what the heck is wrong. It's this plug right here. That's what's screwing me. We'll see. I guess I'll tackle it tomorrow. I'm a little upset. I was kind of hoping to just, you know, plug it in and be done, but that's how it goes. Look at this mess. Look at this. What a pain in the ass. Alright, well the Z is all back together, and that side is not touched. This side looks good. It's a pretty good upgrade compared to what it looked like before. Today was a day of me letting you guys down. I didn't complete the base shave, and Jip's car doesn't have power, and I don't know why, because my freaking voltmeter is broken, and I can't test anything, and I'm pathetic, but whatever. And I'm complaining, and I'm sorry, I suck, but whatever. So, kind of trying to accelerate things with the Z. I was kind of hoping to build this car a lot faster than it's been going. I've been really enjoying driving it. It's been a really nice daily experience, just having a, you know, cool car to drive around. It's very comfortable, it's very reliable, and it's a cool car. But Tommy pulled his motor, and I need to catch up with him. So I found someone to buy the motor that's in the car now. Roberto, I'm so sorry, but I'm not keeping it a VG motor. I just want to do something different. I think it'll be very fun. I'm not gonna say what motor it is now, but I have an idea, and I have someone lined up to buy the motor, and when I pull it and they buy it, I'll have enough to just afford the motor. In the meantime, I think I'm just gonna pull the motor maybe tomorrow, if not the next day. I have to find an engine hoist. I borrowed the last one. I should really just buy one, but whatever. I don't know when I should tell you guys. You know, I might just wait till the day I pick up the engine to tell you. Some of you guys might be super stoked about it. Others might just think it's stupid and lame and boring, but it's not an LS. I'll tell you guys that. It's not an LS, so you could be happy about that one. Grab yourself some merch in the description so we can get this ball rolling a little bit more. So any and all merch on the website, every penny from it goes straight into this car, which I'm excited about, and I appreciate every dollar you guys spend at the store. It helps me out so much, and you guys are awesome. I mean, just watching the video helps me out so much. So, okay. Like, comment, subscribe, stay tuned for more content, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow.